Hello, Blue Jays fans. Welcome in here to East Coast Blue Jays. I'm your host, Patrick McGraw. On this July 23rd, Wednesday night, the Toronto Blue Jays are up against the New York Yankees for the rubber match. One game apiece. Chris Bassett up against Max Fried for the New York Yankees. On this episode, we'll be talking about Daulton Varsho, how he's making out, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. struggles, a new signing, international signing, the youngest player ever to sign with the Toronto Blue Jays. Big money and some reliever rentals that the Jays could possibly go out and get. But thank you all for coming in here to East Coast Blue Jays. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and don't forget to comment below. Now let's get going. So the Toronto Blue Jays are up against the New York Yankees for the rubber match tonight. Max Fried up against Chris Bassett. Max has a 1.11-3 record with a 2.43 ERA, 113 strikeouts, and only allowed 9. Chris Bassett, he's 10-4 for the season, 3.89 with 109 strikeouts, allowed 13 home runs. So it's a pretty good matchup. Tonight, Ernie Clement has lost his leadoff spot. David Schneider is leading up, playing left field. George Springer is in the DH. He is the best. He's our MVP this year. George Springer by far. Vladimir Guerrero, hopefully he'll figure things out. He's in the third spot. Bo Bichette's in. Then there's Kirk, Addison Berger's in the lineup. Ernie Clement, Miles Straw, and Leo Jimenez is playing second base in the 9th spot. So that is the pitchers that are up for the night and the lineup for your Toronto Blue Jays. So as you know, the Toronto Blue Jays are not too far behind the American League East standings. They're pretty much there right now. So as it stands, how they got there? Well, they got there by playing great fundamental baseball. They've been quite successful this season, especially since in May. The Toronto Blue Jays have been dogged by a propensity for allowing home runs, with 3 given up in the last night 5-4. Toronto enters tonight's series finale versus the Yankees, tied for 4th most on the list of the MLB teams. So, yes, they're definitely giving up a lot of long balls this year. Most home runs allowed in MLB. You got the Athletics, Orioles, Rockies, and then you got the Blue Jays. So, considering where we are in the standings, I'm pretty shocked. But at the same time, I'm not. We're giving up a lot of home runs with barely anybody on base. That's the good thing about it. When we do give up home runs, it's usually nobody on base. But hopefully we can work out on those bad statistics that you really don't want to be into. But you know what? The Jays will figure things out. And you know what? Here's American League standings right now. We're half a game behind the Houston Astros. We're in second spot with 59-42. Detroit lost today against the Pirates. We will be playing against the Detroit Tigers next tomorrow in a 3-game series, and the Yankees are in the 4th spot for the best record in the American League at this moment. So yeah, so far so good. We're still in the lead of the American East. We're almost in the leads in the American League so far. So far so good. Hopefully the Jays will win the rubber match tonight up against the Yankees. So John Snyder was asked today, he was asked today about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He says, "We don't need Vlad to be a Superman, but we do need him to be him. By power standards, probably everyone is looking for a little bit more. When that happens, that just adds a different dynamic to our team that's already really good." So, yes, unfortunately, Vladdy's power has kind of disappeared, but his defensive side of things is definitely there. He's one of the best first basemen in the league right now. He is getting on base. He's getting good average. He is getting RBIs. But it's just the power that we're mentioning, the clutch situations that the Jays fans are waiting for. And you know what? He'll get there. He'll definitely get there. Another one that a reporter asked John Snyder about Daulton Varsho. Daulton Varsho is headed to Triple-A Buffalo by Friday, John Snyder says, and likely needs 3 games there. Sounds like we could see Varsho back with the Blue Jays at some point in Baltimore. Tweeted by Keegan Matheson. So that's some great news. As far as I know, as far as I can see, he was in Dunedin for a few days. He had a great outing there. Now he's heading to Triple-A Buffalo, which is this coming Friday. And he's supposed to be spending another 3 games there and see how things go. And before you know it, he'll be up in the Toronto Blue Jays jersey. And that's pretty exciting to get him back out in center field. You know what that means. He would probably have to bump a guy down. Maybe Joey Leperfido, he might end up heading back down in the minors. But besides that, Joey Leperfido has definitely showed that he belongs. But unfortunately, when Daulton Varsho comes back, one of those guys has to go down. Nathan Lucas, I can't see him, but I can see Joey Leperfido heading back down. So, a little stats by Mr. Daulton Varsho has been red hot since joining Dunedin, collecting 4 hits and 8 at-bats, 500 average over his 3 rehab games. Impressively, he's launched 2 home runs and driven in 5 runs, including a 3-homer on July 20th and a solo blast on July 23rd. That's today. In one standout outing, he went 2 for 3 with a homer, an RBI, and 2 runs scored, showing off an impressive exit velocity of over 102 miles per hour. His consistent offensive impact in this short span illustrates that he's quickly regaining form as he progresses through rehab. So yes, he was doing extremely well in Dunedin, but he's got to get to AAA, where you got a lot of these major league ready pitchers that he's got to be up against, and see how he actually really does against those guys, because in Dunedin they're not really major league ready. So we kind of beating up those guys, I guess, but they'll find out more when he's up with the AAA Buffalo Bison to see really how well he's going to be doing. But it's exciting news to see Mr. Daulton Varsho coming slowly back into the majors. So give it another week or so, and we'll definitely see Mr. Daulton Varsho in the Toronto Blue Jays uniform very shortly. So I'd like to touch base on Mr. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and his struggles of late, and I know he'll figure things out. He's just such a great player. You just got to remember that he's still a young man. He's only like 26. So what he's been doing lately, what he's been doing since his career, since he's been up in the league for like over 5-6 years now, it's remarkable. A tweet by Keegan Matheson, he says, the Blue Jays need more from Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and I don't understand why that's only being whispered instead of said out loud. If any player can turn it on in an instant, it's Vladdy. He can take this team from a postseason contender to a World Series contender by himself. So, yes, of course, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is the face of the Blue Jays, as you know. He's going to be with us for the next 14 years. We're paying him a lot of money, $500 million. He'll figure things out. I mean, imagine the pressure that he's feeling lately to be just signing with the Jays a 14-year, $500 million. There's a lot of pressure on him. There's a lot of weight on his shoulder. And for such a young man to carry all that is pretty impressive. So kudos to you, Vlad. I know you'll figure things out, and we have all the trust in the world with you. So just a little bit of stats here. So over the season so far, Guerrero has compiled 12 home runs, 46 RBIs, paired with a .275 batting average, .429 slugging, and an .810 OBS across 357 at-bats. Those numbers are respectable, but they fell short of his breakout 2024 campaign and highlight an overall power dip compared to the previous season. So yeah, he definitely dropped his numbers quite a bit, especially in the home run category. He did win the home run derby a few years ago, but like I said earlier, he'll definitely figure things out. We have all the trust in the world with this guy, but that's pretty much all I can say with him. Hopefully you have a great night tonight against the Yankees, and we'll be all rooting him on. Let's go, Vladdy. So the Toronto Blue Jays made a handshake signing of Mr. Angel Montas, I think you pronounce it, from the Dominican Republic. It's pretty remarkable. He's only a 14-year-old kid. And I'll just read this here. There is not a whole lot known about Montas because of his young age, other than he plays in the infield and outfield. Is best in class of 2028. He is currently 14 years old, stands 6'4". He's a big guy, 220 pounds, and bats left with a very impressive hit tool. 6'4", 220 pounds, 14-year-old kid. Man, it took a record-breaking signing bonus for the Blue Jays to acquire a free agent giant like Angel Montas. There is literally no current MLB player whose youth tool matrix mirror Montas at his age. Typically, max exit velocity for the age group is 56 to 65 miles an hour, with middle school elite performances pushing it into 70s. Given that, Montas' 102 miles per hour exit velocity is off the chart. So that's pretty amazing. I was just reading Daulton Varsho earlier. He just came up from AAA from Dunedin, and Daulton Varsho is hitting 102 miles an hour right now. His kid, he's hitting 102 miles an hour at the age of 14, 6'4", 220. I can see why the Toronto Blue Jays went out and got this guy, but I guess it's not signed yet. I guess it's more of a handshake. So for now, the Toronto Blue Jays have this guy. Look forward to see him probably within the next 3 or 4 years in the minors, Vancouver Canadians, or in Buffalo Bison before it comes up in the league. So it's pretty exciting to see this kid. All right, so one more thing before we head out here. So the Toronto Blue Jays are in work to find some relief arms, to find a trade. And reports are showing interest in the Baltimore Orioles, Gregory Soto, and Dominguez, per Hector Gomez reported from the Extra. Hector Gomez is a reporter from Dominican, reported that these two relievers are in sight of the Toronto Blue Jays. So we would probably have to give up quite a few guys to get these guys. But as it stands, the Baltimore Orioles are looking to sell, looking to trade a lot of these players. And these two players right here are two guys that definitely would help out the Toronto Blue Jays bullpen, which we definitely need that. But yeah, so these are the two guys, Soto and Dominguez, reported by Hector Gomez. So we'll see what happens, and we'll go from there. So yes, the game is starting very shortly. Enjoy the game. I'm your host, Paxton McGraw from East Coast Blue Jays. Rubber match, Toronto Blue Jays against the New York Yankees. Have yourself a great night and enjoy the game tonight. Hopefully the Jays will win and become the first overall best team in the American League. But thank you again for coming in. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and leave a comment below. Have a great night, boys.